Okay, my friends, we're holding in chapter 36. We're holding in the beginning of the chapter 36. On the right-hand column of that chapter, in the bottom of the page. I'm sorry for the inconvenience today, but it's cozy. Baruch Hashem. We need a new building. We need another building. Capital campaign. Why not?
It's only for good things.
So the Alter Rebbe in this chapter, the Shnei Zalman, the one who wrote the Tanya, in this chapter brings a revolutionary concept to light from a medrash that explains the purpose of creation. That something that people have been wondering from the beginning of time: what is the purpose? Why would God, who is infinite and has no need for anything, if something is infinite, then we understand that it has no need. Something that's finite, a created being, needs to have somebody or something that gives it its existence. So like everything in the world that's created, myself, that my parents created me, I needed them. Whether I need them now is not important, that I needed them, and that's why I have an obligation to honor my parents, because I needed them. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And so to everything in the world, it needs to have something that has made it. But the Eibishter, God himself, is infinite, doesn't need anything. So why would God need a world? Why the word need, when you say God needed the world, is already something that you created. You're in essence putting him into a situation of need. So the Medrash says that Nesava HaKadosh Baruch Hu liyas leidira b'tachtonim, and that's in the beginning of this chapter, that God had a desire shetachas b'riyas ha'olam hazeh Nesava HaKadosh Baruch Hu liyas leidira b'tachtonim, that the purpose is the purpose of this world, of the upper and lower worlds, was all for the purpose of God wanted a dwelling place in this world. And in this lower world, tachtonim, in this lower world. So in essence, God created Ein Sof, infinity, had to create the concept of Seder Shtalshlus, which means the migration of the descent of the worlds. You have a concept, we mentioned last week, the word Hishtalshlush, which is a concept of a chain faction, where one thing is interconnected into the other, and it goes from one level to the other. And for the example of the light, you take a strong light, and then you put in front of it many different shades, which changes the color of the light, but the light never changes. And through the journey of this light, of this energy, of God's light, God's energy, Hashem, the light of God, we ultimately come to a world that a physical reality, a world that has the capability of ultimately even denying its creator, and which in essence shows the concept of gullus, the aspect of gullus, exile. Is that there's a darkness of light, there's a loss of light, and that's why we celebrate Hanukkah, to bring light into the world. The purpose of bringing light into the world, our obligation is to bring light into the world. We symbolize it through the Hanukkah light, but really we're trying to bring the light of God into the world. That's really our objective, is to bring the light, because a candle is symbolic to the concept of light. It is the aspect of light. So we have a concept of dark. That's a Hanukkah menorah. The difference between the menorah and that we light the Hanukkah and the menorah that was lit in the Beis Hamikdash was that the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash was lit in the morning, and the Hanukkah menorah is lit at night. We light the menorah at night. We'll hold your seats for you. We light the menorah specifically at night, because Hanukkah menorah. The menorah is symbolic to the concept of darkness, bringing light into darkness. So we have a concept of darkness. Oh, wow. What's going on over here?
Attract the crowd.
Too many Jews.
Sold out crowd.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Is this available?
Naturally, you have the small number.
Oh, you're right.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
I told you we need a new building. So here in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe in essence brings out this aspect. He brings out, as I mentioned, you look in the right column, you see in the second paragraph the word hishtalshlutz, his downward gradation. So this concept of the hishtalshlutz, the downward gradation of the worlds, and their descent degree by degree through the multitude of garments, which screen the light of life that emanates from Him. You have the Oir Hashem, the light of God, which comes from God Himself and ultimately goes from one concealment to another concealment until there's created this material and gross world, the lowest in degree, then which there is none lower in the aspect of the concealment of this light. And they have that's why this is a dark world. It's called this world is called the concept of darkness. We have the aspect of darkness, which darkness has no real reality. It's just a lack of light. Even in the world today, the sun doesn't go away. When it's dark here, it's light someplace else, as we all know. So why? Because the sun has just moved on. The light has just moved on. If there was light, if there's a situation, you can go certain place in the world where it's light the whole time for many months, and it's dark for many months at a time. And it's because the sun, the light is not there. So darkness really has no entity, and God made it that way. In essence, you see that in Judaism, we go the evening comes before the day. In the normal way of doing the calendar, the day and the evening go together. And the day comes first, and then goes the evening. In the Torah, it's the opposite. Hanukkah starts tonight, even though tomorrow is the first day of Hanukkah. But it starts tonight. Tonight is considered the first day of Hanukkah. It's at nighttime. It starts tonight at 6:10. Starts Hanukkah. Because the night follows the day, or the day follows the night. The night precedes the day. The night precedes the day. So the night is the beginning of the next day. In essence, by Jews, we go from night to night as a complete day. The night, and why? Because that's the way it's in the Torah. It's written in the first 6 days of creation. It says, "Vayerev, vayivoker." It was evening. It was day. The first day. "Vayerev, vayivoker." It was evening. It was day. The second day. So you see that the way that the Torah wanted to do the day is by night, and day is considered a whole day. But also the lesson is Vayerev is night, darkness, night. Night, which is a concept of lack of light, always comes before the day. Because all darknesses, all concepts of darkness will come day, will transform into the concept of light. Chas v'shalom, it would be the opposite way. The light would bring about darkness, God forbid. Light cannot bring about darkness. Darkness brings about light. So it goes the other way. So every dark situation will ultimately bring its light. Actually, the greater the darkness will bring about a greater power, a greater concept of light. So the lower, in a way, the lower something is, the more the light will transform it. The more the light has an effect on something that is darker. So that's why no person should say I'm a wicked person or I'm a terrible person. That's the opposite. Maybe if you're a terrible person, you have the capability of bringing more light to the world. And that's your obligation. The more terrible you are, the more light you can bring into this world. No, that's true. So the bigger Rasha you are, the bigger wicked person you are, that's the opposite. You should thank God that you can go in to be a big Rasha and to bring light into the world. It's true. The Baditchev once met a Jew in the street. He told him, he told his Jew that he said, I'm jealous of you. So he said, well, Rabbi, why are you jealous? I'm the sinner of the city. I am the sinner in the city. So he said, that's why I'm jealous of you, because it says every Jew will do tshuva. The Rambam makes a promise that Maimonides makes a promise that every Jew will repent. And we have to bring chairs. And you have to sit on the roof. And the come over here, come. You have to bring a chair. And their mitzvah that it says that when you do tshuva or you repent, your sins will turn into mitzvahs. So he said, when you're going to repent, you know how many mitzvahs you're going to have? You're going to have an unbelievable amount of mitzvahs. So that's why, in essence, I'm jealous of you. So why the truth is, how can a mitzvah, how can an aveda, how can a sin turn into a mitzvah? Because even the sin has a purpose. That Alter Rebbe says later. Even a sin has its purpose. What is the sin's purpose? That you should bring light into it. A person sins, so he should be able to do tshuva. So you should be able to repent. I'm not telling you to go start sinning. But if you sin, God forbid, which we all do, we should be able to do tshuva. There's no tshuva. Nothing stops but a constant repentance. And to bring light into the place where there was darkness. My friend, this is a very important thing. And that's why, in essence, God, in essence, had the concept of sin. In general, why would God want the aspect of sin? He could have created a world where there's no sin. Everything was perfect. God created the world. He could have created a perfect world. And there would be never a concept of negativity. There will only be positive. If He created the world, if you believe the world was created on itself, so then this whole concept is not understood. But if you believe that God created the world, He could have created the world in any kind of a fashion He wanted to create this world. And He created the world in a way that there would be darkness. Darkness, physical darkness, and spiritual darkness. There'll be the concept of darkness in the world. And there'll be tzaddis in the world, and there'll be exile in the world, and there'll be Avanim, we're celebrating Hanukkah, there'll be Greeks, and there'll be troubles, and there'll be victories, and there'll be losses. And that's the way God created the world. God wanted the world, that the world would be this way, that there will be darkness in the world, so that a human being that goes into this darkness will be able to bring light into the world. If God would not do that, then what would be the purpose of 99% of humankind that are involved in this world? There would be a whole bunch of robots. So the Eibishter wants you to be who you are, not to be somebody else, but to be who you are, and in every person at his own level, to bring some light into the world. That's why we go like Beis Hillel. You know, there's a big argument in the Gemara. How do you light the menorah? You light the menorah 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's Beis Shammai. You light the menorah starting from 8 candles, and you go lower and lower. And Beis Hillel says, no, you light the menorah 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is the way we do it today. Since the Beis Hillel's times, that's the way we do it. We light 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because why? Because Beis Hillel says, Ma'alim B'Kodesh, when it comes to holiness, you got to slowly bring more light into the world. The first day is only 1 candle. You don't light 2. You can't jump the gun. You got to light 1 candle. You got to bring 1 lightness in the world. And then the next day you got to bring another light, the extra light. And then the third day you got to bring a 3rd light, an extra light. You don't diminish the first 2. You light the first 2, and you light a 3rd one. So you continue to bring more light into the world. And that is the aspect of the service of the Jew, that we have that capability of bringing more light into the world. Not be afraid of darkness, not to be afraid of the concept of a challenge or a negative situation in the world, but actually to bring light into the world. And that's why God, in essence, created the world in that way. You say the shtalshlos, this concept of the downward gradation. So we would realize the further we are, is the further we can do. The furthest place of Judaism we can be is the further we can bring light to the world. The Gemara says the Goyim, the nations of the world, thought they'll destroy the temple, and by that they'll diminish the light of God in the world. What they didn't realize, that they did a great tzedakah, they did a great thing for the world, and that was by destroying the temple they brought God to the entire world. Because the Jewish people until then were in one place in the world, or either they were all in the Middle East, and that was it. And today the Jews are throughout the entire world. Churban Beis Hamikdash, the destruction of the temple, brought about the Jews went throughout the entire world. And There's no place today, besides maybe North Korea or whatever. There's no, even China, there's Jews already. So there's every place of the world, there's a Chabad house in every place of the world, Baruch Hashem. There's not a place in the world. What? Actually, I got a picture. There's a picture of a Chabad house on Mars with the rover found the Chabad house there. That's what I got a picture. I don't know if it's real or not. Yeah, I thought it was real. I didn't realize it. You were kidding me. It was a Photoshop. It's through the bubble. So why? Because there's Jews throughout the entire world, everywhere in the world, where there's an aspect of the world. You didn't need to go there and do a mitzvah. The Jews think they travel the world just to see the world. No, if they travel the world, and if you go around the world, which today you have the capability to travel the world, Baruch Hashem, wherever you are in the world, you should do a mitzvah there. You should make a bracha there. You never know why are you walking on the wall of China? I don't know, wherever you want to walk. Why are you walking there? Maybe never a blessing was said on the wall of China. So you should, when you go there, you should make a bracha there. You should make a blessing there. Say a pasuk of Torah there. You never know, but why God brought you at that place and at that time to the other side of the world.
So here's my confusion. It sounds like we were meant to be in the diaspora, that we were meant to spread our essence to everyone. So doesn't that contradict the concept of Zionism? And I'm not questioning the need for Israel. That's obviously there, but how do we all shouldn't end up there then?
No, we go out and then we come back. That's a Yerida Tzorech Aliyah. That's the whole concept of a descent for the sake of an ascent. So we need to bring everybody back to Eretz Yisrael. That's the agenda. Bring everybody back to Eretz Yisrael and rebuild the Beis HaMikdash and have revelation of godliness in the world again. That's the whole purpose. So the descent, a descent is not to be a descent. We don't want to live in China. Everything comes from China, but we don't want to live in China. But a descent is not for the sake of a descent, to stay in the descent. No, the descent is for the ascent. And if you're stuck in the descent, say this is divine providence, I'm the divine providence, I should be in this hole. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to get out.
Although Boca isn't that bad.
It's very bad. We need all be in Eretz Yisrael. That's bad in comparison to Eretz Yisrael. Yeah.
Down to go.
Yeah. So you need to go step. Yeah. The whole purpose of going down. Why did the neshama come down to this world? Why did that's a general question. Why would the neshama that's comes from a very high place in heaven? Why would a neshama come down to this world? That's a great descent for this neshama. The purpose is that not only that the neshama came down to the world to bring light to the world and to the body that it came down into, but actually for aliyas haneshama. We say may the neshama have an aliyah, right? When a person has a yard sale, we say may his soul have an ascent. That means why? Because on the day of the yard sale, his neshama goes even higher. Why? Because it came down to the world. It did its job. It gets an aliyah. It gets its own aliyah. It gets its own elevation through its descent. There's no other reason that the neshama comes down to the world, if not to have an ascent. The whole purpose, and that's the truth, this concept, the whole concept of a descent is not only that it should go back to its original place, but it should actually go higher. Because if to go back to the original place, that's a waste of time. That's not needed to go back to it. You could have stayed in its original place. Every descent is for an ascent. So we took a menorah, like an example. We took a menorah, we were symbolizing the menorah of Hanukkah, but really, we added a candle to the menorah of Hanukkah. The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash had 7 candles. We added a candle to that, right? So the descent is for an ascent. We added a candle. We made a menorah out of 8 candles. Bigger than the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash had 7 candles. We added 8 candles. We actually added 9 candles. If you compare, you're talking to Shamish, we added 9 candles. But really 8 candles. We added to the menorah. We went more. We celebrated more than the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. And that's really the way it needs to be done. It needs every concept of destruction needs to bring about a greater concept. Every aspect of if a person goes in life and he has a descent, he needs to have a great ascent. He needs to redouble. It has to come back stronger, or else it's a waste. It's a chaval. It's a waste of time. So everything in life, you take one step back to take 2 steps forward. And that's the whole reason. So a person goes down to the lower world, he maybe sins, and this sinning creates a desire within him to maybe become much better than he was before he even sinned. And that's really why it's needed. That's why you do this. That's why you go through life in this kind of way. Everything goes through life in this kind of way. Whether it's being single and then getting married, it's a descent in a way. And and it's to create a greater elevation, to create a greater unity that you would never have without it. And then you have children, it becomes another burden. But this is even a greater, you'll see ultimately that this is a great purpose. It's not just it's not a negative, it's not even though it's a bothersome and it's a pain in the neck, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of hardship and a lot of money, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it because the greatness that comes out of it is you cannot receive in any other kind of a way. So every descent, and sometimes it's hard to find the ascent in something. It's hard to find. It's not easy when we go through certain hardships. But chas v'shalom, a yid has to believe that this cannot be. It might take time, but it cannot be like chas v'shalom that this is thus, that God is trying to knock me down, thus to knock me down, and I should be down and out. No, this is that God wants me to find some inner powers and inner capabilities to bring about even a greater concept. Now, in general, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in the beginning of Tanya, and he comes out also to understand this revolutionary concept. He said that a human being, he's talking about Yidden, a Jew, he has within him 2 souls. He has within him a nefesh elokis, a godly soul, and he has a nefesh bahamis. He has an animalistic soul. His animalistic soul, seemingly, we call a yetzer hara. We call that also an evil inclination. An evil inclination. But Alter Rebbe doesn't call it an evil inclination. He calls it nefesh bahamis, animalistic soul. Because he says that even the animalistic soul is also good. Also has good. If you're gonna call it an evil soul, then in essence you are an evil person. So I'm an evil person. I'm an evil person. So what do you want? I'm born evil. The world says you're born in sin. You're an evil person. If you're an evil person, how are you supposed to elevate yourself if you're evil? The Alter Rebbe says, no, chas v'shalom, nobody should be evil. Nobody should be evil. Right? Everybody should fight evil. Evil is not good. Evil is terrible. Nobody should be evil. Nobody should do an evil act. Nobody should say an evil thing. That's terrible. We all know. We're all adults and we know that this is not the right thing. We have an animalistic soul. We might have desires. We have certain characteristic traits. We have certain negative characteristic traits. We have to realize that in all those characteristic traits is good also. There's something good in it, and therefore you can use it out for the good. So you need to take all what Chassidus tells you, you need to take all your character traits, and you need to use it out for the good. Figure out how to use out. If you have an anger issue, figure out how to use anger for good. If you have a jealousy issue, figure out how to use it out for good. If you have a depression issue, figure out how to use it for good. If God gave you these kind of things, then you need to know how to figure out to use it out for good. And that's your service. And that's what you came to the world for. The Chassidus tells you that's if you ask a question why you came to the world for, you came to the world to work on those animalistic traits. That was the purpose of why you came to the world for. Every person over here knows his good and his negative. And he should only try to enhance his good, which is his oir, the light, and he should be able to take the oir, the light that he has good, and find the negative traits that he has, the negative that he knows he has, and control it, and use it, ultimately transform it to the good. So use your anger to become an activist. against evil. That's a good way of using one's anger. You know, be depressed of negative things. Don't be depressed of in general. The Alter Rebbe says that most of us have a depression issue. So that you need to find a time to be depressed. Make a time. I don't know. Make a time. Usually make it to sleeping time. Be depressed when you sleep. That's the best time to be depressed. And finish. Nobody will know the difference, and you're depressed. And finished. Don't be depressed on your awakening day moments, because that's a waste of time. It's a chaval. The Able should give us a certain amount of time in life. It's a waste. Imagine you come up to life. So what'd you do? 50 years I was depressed. So what'd you do? What'd you do? Nothing. So what did you do? Nothing. What did it change? Change the world. The world is going to go on, whether you're depressed or not. So it's a waste of my personal time. So don't waste your time. If you need to be depressed, Alter Rebbe will tell you, then find a time to be depressed. Make a time, lock yourself in the room, cry, punch the walls out, do whatever you want. Get it out of the system, and life goes on. And your soul needs to flourish, and it needs to be, you need to go out and accomplish in the world. Why your depression and your sadness does not bring you anything good. It's just, you need to be an intellectual person. So if the Eibishter brought you down, some things I'm depressed because God brought me down. God brought me down because He wants I should find within me a greater power to go even greater, to go even stronger. And that will make me feel good. If I can overcome my depression, if I can overcome my issues, I'm going to feel like $1 million. I'm going to feel like a great, successful individual. And that's the beauty. The Eibishter wants you to feel. You don't normally, you can go to a psychiatrist, but you can take pills, but you can find within you how to overcome these issues in our life. So that's why this is a beautiful concept. It goes into the aspect. So he says, then which is the lower aspect of concealment of life, blessed be He, the world doubled and redoubled in darkness, so much that it's full of klipot, it's full of coverings. This world is in another way, it's called the Alma de Shikra. It's called the false world. False world. It's covered. Nobody knows what's really going on, because it's covered. Nobody knows what is right and what's wrong. Nobody knows what is new, what is real and what's fake. It's such a mix-up in the world today. You're not allowed to say anything anymore in the world today. No, you're not allowed to say anything. Not allowed to say nothing. Can't say it, because you never know. You might be hurting, insulting somebody. Just be quiet. And the Sitrach, which actually opposes God, saying, I am, and there is nothing else besides me. That's the chutzpah of the world. That's the chutzpah of the world. The world has the so far away from its creator that the world can say, I am my own maker. I'm my own God. And God gives that right. That's a free choice. God's not going to change anything. God gives that right for a person to ultimately say, I don't need you. I don't need my creator. If that's possible, that a person would say, I don't need my creator. Even a person would say, I don't need my parents. I don't need them. It's not true. You wouldn't be here without them. So you do need them. You might not need them right now, but without them, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have anything in this world without them, because you wouldn't be in the world. So you're not a big knackiv. You're not much of a big knackiv. I needed somebody else to bring me here. If in the first years of my life I couldn't do anything without them, I wouldn't survive without my mother for sure. I wouldn't survive without her if she would not feed me and clothe me for the beginning of my life. Well, wouldn't be. So how can I say what am I? So what am I? I don't want to get into details. Whatever, they needed it. The Eibishter made that way the world. That a human being, not like an animal, that many animals are created, they get up and they go. A human being is created, he can do nothing. He's nothing, he's worthless thing. Goo gagas and everybody goes crazy over him. And we're all excited that they do. Thank God. You imagine if we wouldn't get excited, parents wouldn't get excited. The kid goes gaga goo goo, the grandparents get all excited, right? Imagine an adult would do that. You say, crazy, you're sugar. Go get some help. But you see a little baby, we all get excited. His first smile, his first expression, right? Thank God, the Eibishter planted it. It's not a skite, right? You think about it. Stupid. Later, you show your children, this is what you did. They say, by the way, put it away. I don't right? You take all the pictures, right? Because that's the way the Eibishter made the world. The Eibishter made the world. But look at that. We get it. We have an unbelievable love for this child, and unlimited love for this child. We get excited over stupid little things that they do. I don't know why. We just get excited for these stupid things that they do, and it makes our life. It makes our life. We are extremely happy for their development in life. We go crazy over it. A lot of people go crazy over one little baby that does it. It's unbelievable. The Eibishter showed unlimited love of parents, an unlimited ava that parents have to a child, right? Baruch Hashem, that the parents have a capability of love to a child. And some it's sad because some people go depression doing that. Postpartum depression, and they go into depression for that. But in general, the concept of true ava, true love to this beautiful your beautiful child that you have. The Eibishter says, "Ahafti escham amar Hashem." Now you can understand why God also says, "I love this, my creation." Just like you are unbelievable happy over your creation, why am I not happy over my creation? Every single David says, you're my children. You go crazy over your children, I go crazy over my children. Why? You only allowed to go crazy over children. I'm not allowed to go crazy. Why do you go crazy over children? Because that's the way I made you. Because that's the way I am. You're expressing, you're actually reflecting my love. The truth is, you should be able to have this love, unlimited love. We go crazy over children, whether it's our children or it's somebody else's children. We love children. We love children. And we have to look at old Jews as children. Some are smarter and some are still going gaga gaga. They're still mumbling and babbling and hacking at Chinik, but they're still children, right? They're still not know what they're talking about. They can't walk yet. They're still not walking. They're still crawling, right? In their lives. But they're children. The children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They're God's children. You saw that by the Rebbe. Whenever anybody spoke against a Yid, he would go Meshuggah. We would go really ballistic. How can you talk about a Jew? Every Yid is a child of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And how can you talk about the Eibishter loves every Jew? And he has unbelievable ava. He has unbelievable love. The Rebbe once said that he went into the Frierdiker Rebbe, and the Frierdiker Rebbe gave him an analogy. He said that it's amazing how when a person has a child, or a person has a baby, the parents they find that they have unlimited love. They have like this unlimited love to this baby. And if God gives them another blessing, they have two babies. They realize, wow, they can have a double unlimited love, right? They can find out because they have unlimited again. And if they have 3 children, 4 children, they see that they have like unlimited love to 4 children, to 5 children, to 10 children, to 13 children, whatever the number is. You can have unlimited love to how many children that God gives you. What happens if God, Chas v'Shalom, gives the parent a child that is not healthy? God suddenly gives the parent a child that is has an issue, Down syndrome child. Then you see that the parents find even a deeper love, right? They find that it's not an unlimited love. This is a different kind of love. This is because the parent realizes this child needs to have even a greater love, right? Like I said yesterday, Yosef, Yaakov Avinu. Yosef lost his mother at 8 years old. How can you not have love for this child, right? He has no mother. He's an orphan. How can you not have? The Torah says you shall love the orphan and the widower. You have to find a deeper love to love an orphan and a widower. You have to. If you don't have a deeper, even though I ask you to love every Jew, when you meet an orphan, you have to even show even a greater love to the orphan. You have to show a great love. It's a child is an orphan. So when you find that the Fidik Rebbe says that when you find that all Jews are children of God, you find those that are healthy, some are unhealthy. You have to find a deeper love for all God's children. So the Eibishter puts a person in a situation. God puts a person in a situation. The Eibishter, God, in essence, you didn't decide where you were going to born, where you're going to be born in, which family you're going to be born in, where you're going to be born in. God put your neshama put my neshama on this world. That I was born in a certain family, that was God's wish. And everybody around this table, that the Eibishter put you in your family, that was God's desire. That you should be born in this situation, this kind of thing. And then the Eibishter says, so what? You got to become your own person. Right? You got to become your own person. If you have to be a self-made man, you got to do it. Self-made woman, whatever. You got to do it. You got to do it. No excuses. I put you there, and now I want you to do what you got to do. I want you to get out of this situation. Right? That's what God tell Abraham. Lech lecha me'aitzecha meladcha beis avicha. You want to be a Jew, you gotta keep on trucking. You gotta go better. You gotta go better. That's what the Gemara says. Every parent wants his children to be better than them. No parent is jealous if their children are better than them. Healthy parents are not jealous if their children are better than them. Right? They're not. They want their children to be better than them in all aspects of life. So why did God put it in the Talmud tells us that God put it into the DNA of parents and of children, that even though that they come from their parents, they should feel their own identity, and they sometimes don't want identity of their parents for whatever reason, and they rebel against their parents for whatever reason, and this is all implanted in a person, and the Eibishter made that for a positive purpose, not for a negative purpose, but for a positive purpose. And the purpose is because God wanted each and every person to be his own leader, his own person. He shouldn't be just a follower. Should be his own trailblazer. Should be his own light. That's also not the beauty of Hanukkah. That every person lights their own candle. Each person needs to be their own light. Yeah? I'm a chaya. So clearly the purpose, it's not 11 o'clock yet, the purpose of the Ishtalshlus of the worlds and their descent degree by degree is not for the sake of the higher worlds. Why would God do this? Because for them, this is a descent from the light of this continents. That's the concept. I'm on page 164. On the right account, the bottom, I'm on the right page? I'll make a lot of progress today. I'm trying to, because I'm going to turn the page in a minute. For not for the sake of the higher worlds, because for them, this is a descent from the higher concept. So in essence, my neshama is, my neshama in the higher worlds, even in Gan Eden, was at a certain level. It was not the highest level of Gan Eden. So me coming down, why would God bring me down lower? This is bringing my soul down lower. But the ultimate purpose of creation is this low world. Now we can have a rebound. This is we can rebound. In essence, that's why my soul came down. If my soul would never come down, it would stay always stagnant in a certain space in heaven. But now that my soul comes down, I can have an unbelievable rebound. Like I would take a ball and hit it against the wall, and I have a rebound. Sometimes you have to hit the wall to get a rebound. Sometimes you have a rebound. Truth is, you learn that from the sun. I believe the sun is the hottest in the world because the hair, it has its reflection. right? And the higher you go you go on a plane, you're higher to the sun, but it's colder up there. Right? It's very cold. You come down the world. Here is where the sun reflects. That's where it's Florida. It's 90 degrees. Because the sun over here reflects more on this side of the world. I'm in pastures. Because them that is sent to light is kind of blessed be. But the ultimate purpose of creation is the lower world. For such is the will, blessed be he, that he shall have the satisfaction. Okay, turning the page. When the sitra achra is subdued and darkness is turned into light. That is the purpose, turning darkness into light. Turning the page. Turning darkness into light. Who can turn darkness into light? Only we that are involved in darkness. We humans that get involved in darkness can turn darkness into light. So the divine light of Ein Sof, blessed be he, shall shine forth in the place of darkness. Friends, that is what's the whole. So here, that's why God, in essence, needs me and you. And that's why God says, when I do something, he gets a great, great pleasure. Because in essence, God created the concept of darkness through this histalshlus, through this descent. And he gave man that free choice to change this darkness and to bring a light within this darkness. And if you're not going to do it, it's going to stay dark. So in essence, the truth is, everybody has their dal damas. Everybody has their space in this world. Everybody has their space in this world. You have expression in the Mishnah that there's no man that doesn't have his place and there's no man that doesn't have his time. Every person has their space in the world. Means their purpose in the world. And nobody can affix that place besides me and you. My place in the world. If I don't do it, this place will always stay dark. That's it. Then I have not accomplished the purpose of bringing some light into the lighten up my 4 cubits of space. My space in the world. And it's going to stay dark. And nobody can bring this light. I cannot do it for you. And you cannot do it for me. We each and every one of us has to take our talents and take our capabilities and bring some positive thing into that space. And that's what we need to do. And that's why we came down to the world. That's why I'm here in the world. That's the whole purpose. And that's why the Eibishter gave me many tools. God gave me many different tools that I can bring into this world, whether it's between man and man, whether it's between man and God. God gave us many, many different tools that I can figure out which tool. I should try to do all tools, all of it, but I can figure out what tools I need to work more on. What capabilities are easier for me? What are harder for me? I can't run away from my 4 cubits. I try to run away from life. People try to run away from life. You can't. You're stuck with it. It's in your 4 cubits, in your box. It's your mekayma. It's your place in this world. You can't run away from it. You can hide it, push under the cover, run away from it, drink, whatever gets you out of reality. But you're stuck. I'm stuck with my reality. I'm stuck with it. I'm stuck with my nefesh habahamis. I'm stuck with my animalistic soul. And I need to develop it. If I don't develop it, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. It's going to happen that I didn't do the purpose of my existence. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to happen. The world's going to go on. Life is going to go on. But I've gone through life and I've not had any development in life. I've not had any purpose in life. And I'll tell you something that the Alter Rebbe, Tanya, will say many times, that the ultimate is to change one's midos. You can learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Because you're learning a lot of things. And learning never ends. And learning is beautiful. A lot of us run into learning. Learning is great. Spirituality, learning of spirituality is even machaya. It's even greater. People love the unknown and whatever. But really, the most important thing is to change my midos. The whole purpose of all the spirituality and all this learning is all to change my midah, my character. And if I don't change my character, there's no movement, then it's all fantasy. It's all vanity. It's nothing because the spirituality was there beforehand, the learning was there beforehand, the knowledge was there beforehand, and the knowledge will be there afterwards. But my space in the world is either I'm gonna fix it now or not. Either I'm gonna change it or not. Improve it, whatever you want to do, call it. You can do whatever you want to do it. Give it any name. But that is where the importance is. So the Eibishter gave us the knowledge, gave us all the tools, and now he says that's all you need to do is just do it. Use it or lose it. That's it. Use it or you lose it. Because why? Because all the knowledge and you didn't do it is you have lost it. You've lost this concept. So you've lost this aspect of fixing the purpose of your descent to the world. You came down to the world. It was a descent for the soul. The purpose was to bring light into your descent and to bring positive forces in your space and to bring purpose in your space. And for whatever reason, you decided not to. And all the excuses in the world that you decided not to is not going to help the situation that this place has not been changed. It's not going to help anything because ultimately the place has not been changed. So that's why you have an expression in the Mishnah. Mitzvah bo liyotcha. If somebody asks you for a favor, if a good deed comes to your hand, al tach mitzana. Do not push it away. You never push away an act of goodness. Always push away a negative thing. Never push away a positive thing. Somebody comes forward to you, asks you to do a mitzvah, to do a positive things, to do it. Always say yes. Always say yes. Because always try. You never know why that God sent that person to you. Maybe that was to help you out, help me out in fixing the space of my life and bringing some positive things into my life. So therefore we always see, if we're like a nervous person, those that are nervous in here, right? God will always send you people that will be nudges. Always send you these people. Right? And why does he do that? You think it's a why? Doesn't God know I'm a nervous wreck? Doesn't God know I have no patience? But that's what God is doing. God wants to tell you, my friend, that's where you need to fix it. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to help you out. Right? That's why sometimes people that are close to us are our biggest challenge. He's a connector. The Eibishter said, I'm going to send you a partner. I'm going to send you another partner that's going to make you better. Right? I'm not going to send you a partner and say yes, yes, yes. No, I'm going to send you a partner and say no, no, no. I'm going to send you a partner that you think you're a big knacker and you come home and it tells you you're not a knacker. You're not so great. You're not so special. So, and she's right, or he's right, whoever says to who. And the point is, that is the point, and that's true. Sometimes we fall into our glamour and our covers and the things we wear to other people, and then we come home to somebody who really knows us, and he says, take off your stupid garments. It's all Narishkeit. I know who you really are. And he brings it down to the reality, right?
Jackie Mason said that.
So that's true. That's it. So that's it. So the Eibishter sends you this entity, whatever it might be, and then tells you the emes. Tells you the emes. That's a struggle of today with kids. Our kids tell us the truth. We say, stop faking. You're living a lie. That's the big struggle. Don't tell us what to do when you didn't do it yourself, right? Yeah, right. Don't tell it. Don't say to do what we say, not what we do. So sometimes our kids tell us the truth. We cannot. That's the struggles, and that's why our kids. Sometimes our kids today, youth are rebelling. The adults that are living a fake life, and they're not real. And sometimes our kids wake up. It says, "V'heishiv leivavos albanim." That before Mashiach comes, that the children are going to wake up their parents. Sometimes the children need to wake up their parents to tell their parents. What?
I need an example. I can't understand this.
You can't understand this. You see today, the youth is coming back to Yiddishkeit. They're bringing back their parents. A lot of them. They're bringing back their parents. They're waking up their parents to Judaism. Why? Because the kids are saying we cannot live this double life. It's a fake life. You can't live a life that will go once a year you go to shul. It's a baba meiser. It's not a true situation. We got to live a real life. So that is a positive thing. That's a positive thing. Because that's again, I didn't buy these traits. This is what God gave me. This is who I am. Now we are all different around this table. Zalman Bukiet will always be Zalman Bukiet, and so too you will always be who you are, and that's beautiful. But if Zalman Bukiet or each one of them has something negative, he's nervous, he's no patience, he has anger, he has jealousy, he has too much tivus, whatever desires. He needs to work on that. You can't say, "Oh, this is my negative," and you got to live with it. Take me the way I am. No, you got to change. You got to become better. Because if not, then you have to escape to the world, and you were born this way, and you died this way, and then that's it. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And that's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. So therefore, we have to learn to the concept that God brought us down to the world so that we will improve. You like that word? I'll say it. We need to improve it, and to make this product a better product. Because there's no better Zalman Bukiet in the world. It's on camera. There's no better Zalman Bukiet. There's no better. There is none. Every one of us should say the same thing. Bishvili nivra ela, my friends. It's not. I'm not trying to be egotistical. Bishvili nivra. Every one of us. The Mishnah says that every single one of us has to say, "There's no better me in the world." And why? Because nobody can take my purpose in the world that I came down to the world for. Nobody can take my purpose. Nobody can accomplish my purpose. Nobody can do it but me. So there's nobody in the world but me. In this purpose, I'm not talking about in the purpose of the whole purpose of creation, but in the purpose of why my neshama came down into the world, nobody can do it, and nobody can do it better. Not Moshe Rabbeinu, not anybody can do it better than me. And that's a Mishnah. And if not, then if somebody can do it better than you, so who needs you? Right? The other guy should have done it. You should have just stayed in Gan Eden. Should have stayed in who needed you? That the neshama came down to the world. There's a purpose that God needed you. And He couldn't do it without you. That's why God says, Nachas Ruach. The Eibusher says, I created you. So that shows I need you. And that's why I get a pleasure from you accomplishing that person. I get a great pleasure. The Eibusher says, God says, I get a great pleasure. Because in essence, you have shown to yourself and to me that you believe in that I needed you. When you say wake up in the morning, you say, I thank God for giving me my soul. That God gave me my soul. How great is your trust in me? Right? How great is God's trust in me? God knows that yesterday I did a lousy, and the day before was lousy, and the day before might have been lousy. But today in the morning, God sent my soul back to me today, and He said, you know what? I trust that today you're going to be a better day. And the truth is today might be the last day. So you better make it a better day. Make it a better day. Yesterday was lousy, the day before was lousy, the day before was lousy. Today, I send your soul back to your physical body. Today, and make it a better day. You know you when you wake up that you're going to go into all the tzaddis that you were yesterday in, especially emotional pain and suffering, whatever you might have been. You're going to be in the same situation. God says, no, but I trust you today. You're going to find within yourself the capability of overcoming that concept. I have no doubt that you're going to be able to do that. And how do you do that? Is again, that's why Chassidus in this concept gives you the intellectual tool to realize that the Eibishter brought me down into this descent and gave me this issue, all for the purpose that I can find something in this sitra achar, in this sheker, in this falsity, to be able to find within it the light of God and the purpose, because everything has good and bad. There's nothing that is totally evil. Everything has good and bad. Unless it's a murder, I'm not talking about that. In general, in our lives, everything has within it good and bad. Whether I see the good now or I see the bad now and will ultimately see the good, you need to be able to find that light in it. My friends, we're going to Hanukkah. We need to be able, the Frierdiker Rebbe would always say, when you sit tonight and you sit at the candle, listen to what the candle is telling you. The Frierdiker Rebbe would say, listen to what the candle is telling you. Now you think, what is the candle telling me? And the candle is telling you many things. But one thing the candle is telling you is that this little light, ma'at this little candle, chases away a lot of darkness. This little light, you don't got to find a lot of light to chase away a lot of darkness. I can find a little light to chase away a lot of darkness. And the biggest lesson of the candle is that I needed to light the candle. I can have the candle, I can have the wick, I can have the oil, I can have everything, I can have all the tools, but I'm not going to light the candle. That's it. I don't want to light the candle. I don't want to do it. I want somebody else to light the candle. I don't want to light the candle. And if you're not going to light the candle, you're not going to do the mitzvah, you're not going to bring light into the world. And therefore, you need to light the candle. The Rebbe once told the guy, he came to the Rebbe, he said the Rebbe explained to him what a Rebbe and a chassid is. And at the end, he said, so did you, the Rebbe explained to him, I light people's life. I'm a lighter, I'm a lamp lighter, I light people's candles. And the Rebbe, he said, did you light my candle? The Rebbe said, I gave you the match, now you have to light it yourself. You gotta you gotta do it yourself. You gotta light the candle yourself. If you're not gonna light the candle, you're not gonna have the light. So therefore, that's what I believe in many things that the Frierdiker Rebbe said. When you're looking at the candle tonight, listen to what the candle tells you. One of the beautiful things, and the many candles, we know the Ner Hashem, Nish Hasad, the candle of light is the soul of man. And another beautiful thing that I think that the candle tells you tonight is that that the candle can light another candle, right? And you never get diminished by how many candles you will light. The candle never diminishes itself by lighting other candles. You should light as many candles. What does it accomplish? It brings more light into the world. Lighting more candles brings more light into the world by not diminishing its own light. Right? You need to light many, many more candles, my friends. It'll only bring more light into the world and never diminish your light. It's like I gotta go. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Eat some latkes. Don't get too fat.